Good evening, race fans. Welcome to Langley Speedway. The Grisdale Racing Products Winter Meltdown, presented by Caldecott Millwright Services and London Recreational Racing, is on site for round number 8. We are getting down to the end of our season here. We've got 3 races left to go, and tonight we compete at Langley Speedway. Should be a fantastic show. We can see the B main lined up, ready to roll away. Top 10 cars will transfer into tonight's feature event. Once again, a full field of cars. Dale Shaw won last week's event, extended his points lead. Our drivers are going to have to hope for a solid night tonight. Maybe some bad luck for Dale Shaw. These drivers are going to have to work their way into the show, though. Matthew Shirley out of Saskatoon starts on the pole. Alongside him, Brandon Schowler in the 21. Number 2, Josh Stoddy in the 17. Marshall Schrank in the 22. Back to the third row, it's Roland Croteau on the outside with Justin Collison on the inside in that number 13. Then it's David Miller in the 11 starting 7th. Connor Ross starting 8th in the 44. Jaden Chapman, good to see Jaden back driving the 50 machine. Jason Jarvis in the 118. Starting 11th is Brian Wilson in the 114. Billy Zardo looking to make his first start of the season. Donovan Price in the 96. Larry Jackson in the 25. Kyle Steckley, what's he doing there? We have got quality all the way through this field. They've got to make it into the top 10. They want to show up for the dance tonight. Matthew Shirley with a great start. He leads them down the back straightaway into turn number 3. Schowler not giving up on the outside. 25 laps the scheduled distance for this one. Shirley out in front. Stoddy has his nose chopped off by Schowler as he looked to make a move for that second position. Now we ride on board with Marshall Schrank in the 22 as he's door-to-door with Justin Collison in the 13. Little bit of contact. And now a little more contact. I believe that's David Miller who just went around. No, Jamie Dyson. I don't remember announcing Jamie Dyson in the lineup. We remain under green as Matthew Shirley leads Schowler and Stoddy. That is your top 3, nose to tail down the back straightaway. Justin Collison runs 4th. Marshall Schrank up into the top 5 in the 22. Rounding out the top 10, you've got Connor Ross, Roland Croteau, Jaden Chapman, Billy Zardo in 9th. And these are the drivers on the outside looking in as the timing and scoring clicks along. Kyle Steckley has a little bit of work cut out for him. It was David Miller who went for a spin. He has lost a lot of ground in this one, but you never know what's going to happen through these races. 25 laps is a long time, and we rarely see everybody make it through unscathed. Yeah, Matthew Shirley's doing a good job of getting some camera time in this series. He's won a B main already this season. He's leading the way in this one as Justin Collison makes a pass on the inside of Josh Stoddy in that 17. These fans, we appreciate you tuning in and week out on GForce.tv. Unfortunately, because of some technical problems, I'm an idiot. I won't be able to join the chat. We're a little limited on our technology this week, but I'm able to see the race and call it here for you. But we appreciate you being here each and every week. I appreciate even more that you all interact online in the chat, and we can't wait to see you at the racetrack at some point this summer. A little battle further back in the pack. One car going way low. Yeah, Alex McCollum just made a pass for the 8th spot. Go way to the bottom of the racetrack for that one. One driver we're going to want to keep an eye on, that's Kyle Steckley in the 24. He is in the top 10 in the point standings. Dale Shaw. That's a surprise to see Dale Shaw here running in the 10th spot. So we are under yellow. Yellow flag is out. Halfway point. So the intention was with these B mains all season was to not have caution periods, just have one break in the middle of the race. So if something happened Could bunch the field up, people got another chance, but we wouldn't spend an awful lot of time wasted on yellow flag laps. And I believe that was Brian Wilson that got turned not far in front of the leaders, so thankfully the leaders were able to get checked up. As Brian Wilson scored in the 19th spot, he'll go a lap down to the leaders here, and boy, oh boy, Kyle Steckley, Dale Shaw, a couple drivers we're not used to seeing in the B mains, and then we got some drivers who have turned a lot of laps in B mains. Connor Ross, a good example of that in the 44. Matthew Shirley in the 12, but they're starting to qualify for more and more of these races. So Shirley leads the way. He has led from the drop of the green flag. Brandon Schauler runs in that second position in the all-white car. Running in the third spot is young Justin Collison out of Cambridge, Ontario, in the London Recreational Racing number 13. I believe that's Collison's car we're having a look from right now. Oh, that was Matthew Shirley, I'm sorry. As the laps tick away under yellow, it'll be 10 laps to go this time at the stripe. We don't see the field doubling up, so I believe it's at least one more pace lap before we refire. A great view of Langley Speedway. Never been there. Definitely love to go down and check it out. Lizardo in the 46. He has tried so hard. He has a phenomenal attitude. He says, I'm going to qualify for one of these before the season's done. Tonight be the night. He's got to pass 2 cars to get into the show. Running in the 12th spot, but he's got his work cut out for him as Kyle Steckley just ahead of him. And once you get to that battle for the 10th spot, it is gloves off, no holds barred. Great looking field of cars in this B main. Of course, from time trials earlier on, the top 20 is already locked into the 100 lap feature event that'll be up right after this Consi. Hour 1 to go, the field doubles up. Matt Shirley on the inside, Brandon Schauler on the outside. We had these conversations last week. You don't need to battle. The top 10 are locked in. But racers being racers, I expect we're going to see action out here as we are back to green flag racing. And the field fans out 3-4 wide down into turn number 1. Don't envy the cars on the outside. They went way up the racetrack there, so we'll see how things slot out. That's Croto in the 98 being overtaken by Dale Shaw in the 83. Kyle Steckley right up behind the 83 of Shaw as they work off the corner and down the back straightaway. Single file, they race. Just over 5 laps to go. Top 5 hasn't changed, but McCollum to 6, Dale Shaw 7th, Kyle Steckley 8th. Then it's Johnny Morrison and Larry Jackson is 15. One car stuck up on the outside. That's Alex McCollum in that white 73 being passed by Kyle Steckley right now. McCollum up on the high side. Slowly backing up, but he's able to fight pretty hard. McCollum is one of the elite iRacers on the platform. Oh, Dale Shaw in trouble. Shaw gets wrecked. Kyle be involved. Yellow flag is out with 4 to go. This is why you don't want to be in the Consi ever. 22 laps of clean racing. You can get wiped out in a heartbeat. Let's have a look at what happened here. Shaw was right behind the 44 of Connor Ross. It's down on the flat, down into the corner. Ooh, Shaw got a big run. Little bit of contact there. And Shaw got the worst of that. So we'll have to see how the timing and scoring shakes down from this. We'll also have to see how Don York, our race director, has these events set up as far as running extra laps in the Consi. If he's got them set up for a green-white checkered, we should know right here when they cross the stripe whether that's, yeah, it goes back to 4 to go. So we're set up for overtime. Larry Jackson up into 12th. He would love to qualify for his first feature event of the season. So we got Larry Jackson back there, Billy Zardo back there. Like great competitors. They're just not yet iRacers. And there's a big difference. David Miller, he spun at the very start of this race. He's in that final transfer spot. That is the hot seat. Dale Shaw going to have to roll up those sleeves. He has got a long way to go. The one advantage here is once they go to a double file restart, you're that much closer to the front of the field, but there's still a lot of good cars. At the front, we see a bunch of drivers who should be content to just kind of ride. You know, get into the show. Sure, Matthew Shirley's led all the laps. He wants to win, but the big thing is get into the show. Right on board with the third place. I believe that's Josh, or Brandon Schowler, rather. Man, short-term memory loss, a terrible thing. Schowler running in the third spot. Right behind him is Connor Ross. That's where the action started there. Ross just looked to have bobbled coming up off the corner, and Dale Shaw couldn't avoid contact with him and then run over from the back. So green, white, checkered, top 10 make it to the show, and Shirley is out of there. He says, I want none of this action. Hard on the loud pedal down into turn number 1. They're wrecking behind him. This could be the break that Dale Shaw needed. Who's going to get through the smoke? We are back under yellow. Judging from the looks of that, Dale Shaw picked up a couple of spots, but did he wind up into the top 10? We'll have to see. No, he's just outside of the top 10 by my unofficial count. As we look back to how this shook down, watch how quickly Matthew Shirley, he's got the prerogative of when to fire, basically. He's like, I'm out of here. I want nothing to do with this. In fact, the whole top 5 had sort of skated away, and down into the corner, it looked like Scott got loose. I'm not sure if there was contact between him and Connor Ross or not. Cars everywhere through the infield. This was an uneventful B-main for 22 laps. As we look again down into the corner, and yeah, it was already happening there with Josh Stoddy. I believe that's Donovan Price there in the 96 going down through the infield. So yeah, I think depending on where timing and scoring put everyone back to, I think Dale Shaw is going to wind up in a good spot. Did I just hear my good friend Clinton Jeffrey pop in? Yeah, maybe he's just here watching. Maybe he saw me struggling all by myself and thought, I need to go and help my good friend Adam Ross. Welcome once again. Grisdale Racing Products Winter Meltdown, race number 8, presented by Caldecott Millwright Services, London Recreational Racing. We've seen some hard-nosed racing, some passionate driving. Dale Shaw up into the 12th position. Now the question is, does Don York keep them running double file restarts? Does he go to single file to get this race finished? like they're doubling up. Kyle Steckley all the way up into the 4th spot. I believe Connor Ross was put to the back. His involvement in that act, I don't see him there in the top 5 or 6. Dale Shaw up into the 12th spot, and it looks like we're going to take one more pace lap just to build the suspense. Josh Stoddy rolling around trying to find his spot in the lineup. So Josh Stoddy got sideways and was part of the start of that accident. So if they're saying, and I don't have communication with the race director, but if he's saying that Connor Ross was involved in that to get Stoddy sideways, they would both wind up going to the back. Once again, Matthew Shirley takes off from the pole position. He will get a gap down into turn number 1. This is another attempt at a green-white checker. 2 laps to race this out. 10 spots to the dance tonight on the line. I'm really impressed with the top 3 or 4. They've done what they needed to do. Just keep their noses clean, get where they need to get. It's getting dicey up ahead of them. Big moves being made deep in the field. This is the final lap. Last time through 3 and 4. Who's gonna get in? Let's wait and see who is the top 10. We know Matthew Shirley took the win. Brandon Schowler second. Dale Shaw did not. Oh, I don't see Dale Shaw in that top 10. We will see when the lineup comes out. Matthew Shirley, your winner. Brandon Schowler, Justin Collison, Kyle Steckley, Johnny Morrison, Roland Croteau, Jordan Morris, Alex McCollum, Marshall Schrenk, and Jaden Chapman. So Dale Shaw not making the show, and Billy Zardo and Larry Jackson once again do not make their first feature of the season. I was pulling for one of them to get in. Wow. What drama. Let's take a quick break as we wait for the A-Main to get lined up. We've got 100 laps of feature action coming to you right after this.
What makes a trailer a Miska? Is it the heavy-duty Canadian steel they are made from? Or is it the exceptional finish that will last year after year? How about knowing that these are the best backed trailers in the industry? These are the reasons you buy Miska. So what makes these trailers a Miska? It's the hard-working Canadians who craft them. We are Miska. We are Canadian tough.
There are a lot of things in this world that are fake. Your food shouldn't be one of them. Pinty's Man Cave Ribs. Authentic food for real people. Crave the cave, friends. Pinty's Man Cave.
A guy like this, who relies on his truck for work, knows that his truck will take care of him if he takes care of his truck. And WeatherTech has always been the ultimate protection. From floor liners to no-drill mud flaps to tech liner for your truck bed to bump step to the handy under-seat storage system. And Cup Phone keeps phones secure in any cup holder. Order your ultimate protection today at weathertech.ca.
There are a lot of things in this world that are fake. Your food shouldn't be one of them. Pinty's Man Cave sausages and street dogs. Authentic food for real people. Crave the cave, friends. Pinty's Man Cave.
Welcome back to Langley Speedway, the Grisdale Racing Products Winter Meltdown Super Late Model iRacing Series. Big thanks to Caldecott Millwright Services, London Recreational Racing, all a part of bringing this action to you, trying to make the winter just a little bit shorter. Some beautiful weather out there today, so signs that spring may be just around the corner as our sponsor logos fly across the screen. London Recreational Racing, big thanks to Mike Schmidt and all the support he gives. Call to Corey McAllister and Caldecott Millwright Services. Grisdale Racing Products. Grisdale Racing Products and American Racer Tire. They provide the tires for the APC Late Model Series. Grisdale family, the Lockwood family, huge supporters of racing in and around Ontario, and we are just about ready to get things lined up and start the pace laps for tonight's 100 lap feature event. Here we go. DJ Christie, youngster out of Beachville, starting on the pole in the number 5. Alongside him, great to see Mike Bentley back in action in the 51. Row number 2 on the inside, looking to rebound after a tough week last week, is Tyler DiVincenzo in the 97. Alongside of him, one of our steady eddies in this series, Brody McPherson in the 56, always a top 10 contender. Ryan Dyson in the number 28, then it's Gareth Gonder, El Grande, Salvo Falls Tent and Trailer, Park number 81. Parker Traves in the 60 will start 7th. Starting 8th is Trayton Lapsevich in the 32. Starting 9th is Blake Neer in the 14, and alongside him, coming off a great second place run last week, it's Dustin Momberquette in the 16. Starting 11th, Joe Lawrence in the 78, the 17 of Garrett Teamersma. Starting in 13th, it's Ray Morneau in the 03, Jordan House in the number 8. Starting in 15th, Mike Husby in the 6, Colton Everingham in the 48. 17th, it'll be Jamie Dyson in the 11 and the 76 of Caden Lapsevich. Rounding out our time trial qualifiers, Wally Wilson in the 69 and David Rockwood in the 190. Then we go back to our B main transfers. Matthew Shirley in the 12, Brandon Schowler in the 21, 13 Justin Collison, 24 Kyle Steckley, Johnny Morrison in the 86, Roland Croteau in the 98, starting 27th will be Jordan Morris in the 66, Alex McCollum in the 73, and rounding out the field, Marshall Schrenk in the 22, Jaden Chapman in the 50. That's how they line up. 100 laps is the distance. We are off and racing here at Langley. Door-to-door down into 1 and 2. Maybe a bit of contact, but DJ Christie takes the lead. Tyler DiVincenzo looking to shoot through into the second spot. DiVincenzo secures second, leaves Brody McPherson and Mike Bentley battling for third. Ryan Dyson in the 28 wants to fill that hole before Bentley can get back to the bottom. He gets a little bit loose off of turn 2, but still drives it deep into 3 and 4. Ryan Dyson up into the top 5, and things still aren't looking good for Mike Bentley. He's got Parker Traves to his inside, Trayton Lapsevich right behind him. Oh, trouble for Bentley. It looked like he might have tried to close the door on Trayton Lapsevich. Goes for a spin down the back straightaway, comes to rest on the grass in the inside of turns 3 and 4. Oh boy, our outside pole sitter, Mike Bentley in the 51. I believe what we're going to see is Trayton Lapsevich on the inside. Whether he had position or not is going to be the question. There's Parker Traves in the 60. He gets by. Here comes Lapsevich trying to get his nose in. I don't know. It's tough to tell from that angle if Mike Bentley was getting loose on the outside or if it was contact or if he tried to drive across to the inside, but Bentley able to drive away in the 51 machine. Let's see, can we go on board with the 32 at Trayton Lapsevich? Fortunately for Bentley, he got woed up before he crashed hard into that inside wall. So we have one more look, and that's going to cue us up here. Here we are on board with the 32. He's trying to get to the inside of the 51 of Bentley, and it didn't take much contact there for Bentley to go spinning across the nose of the 32 machine. And here we are under yellow. 5 laps complete, about to be 6 laps complete. DJ Christie, who is a dirt sprint car racer from Beachville, Ontario, he leads the way. Bolton Everingham, who is dominating our hard charger standings, didn't have to come through the consi this week, so he's in the top 20 to start, but we'll expect him to advance some positions. He has that crown just about locked up. And we're coming to the restart. DJ Christie fires right at the line, takes off on the inside. Tyler DiVincenzo with a nice restart as well. He'll lock himself into that second spot. Brody McPherson third. Parker Traves up to fourth, and Ryan Dyson trying to hold off 16 machine. As we are under yellow once again. Looks like Alex McCollum in the 73 there got around. Let's see, he was racing around the 78 of Joe Lawrence, if I'm not mistaken. There's Joe Lawrence on the inside. Oh, that was a chain reaction that just wound its way back. So Lawrence gets around. Sorry. So Lawrence was at the lead edge of that incident. How did we see the 73? It looked like the 73 was rebounding from a spin himself. Things happen fast at these races, that's for sure. Be a little bit of help there from Blake Neer in the 14, but it's often hard to tell because there's so much going on around these cars. The push, the contact can sometimes be initiated 2-3 cars back. It looked like Ray Morneau was stuck back at the tail end of that field as well. As we circulate under yellow, let's look at the point standings coming into this race, and they're gonna see a big change. Dale Shaw on his win last week comes in with the points lead. Remember, it's low points wins. So your finishing position is how many points you get that night. So in a 10 race series, if you win all 10 races, you're only going to have 10 points at the end of the year. Dale Shaw, after 7 races, has 48 points. Gareth Gonder in second with 56. Kyle Steckley third with 63. And then as Joe Lawrence was 66, Colton Everingham was 68. So only 20 points separate first through fifth. Dale Shaw did not qualify, so he's got at least 31 points. We'll have to see exactly where he finished. I believe he was 15th in the B main, which would give him 35 points on the night. So could be a big night for any of these top 5 racers, none of whom are DJ Christie in the 5, who's leading the way, Brody McPherson in the 56. Parker Traves couldn't care less about the points. We have only seen him once or twice all season long, but he is always a top shelf racer. I was wondering who the 16 is. That's got to be Dustin Mombourquette with a new skin on that race car. Parker Traves looking racy on the inside of Brody McPherson. He gets that track position. You can see him spike the throttle, try to roll the center. Brody McPherson nice and smooth up on the outside. That's as well as we've seen anyone do who's been trapped on the outside. Of course, as I say that, he's going to lose 2 or 3 spots. Mombourquette, whose lap team takes up the entire width of his windshield. That looks awesome. He'll sneak by. Trayton Lasevich going to work his way by. Tyler DiVincenzo, the next car in line. He is stuck in that high groove for sure. Trying to get down, that didn't work. If you hear dogs fighting in my backyard, it's the sound of dogs fighting in my backyard. Let me close that window. It's our dog making friendly. Garrett Teemersman gets around. Mike Husby gets around on the inside. Brody McPherson take a long trip to the back of the field. But again, I talked about McPherson as a steady Eddie, and I mean that. So he won't take these risks right now. He'll give up 5 spots, 10 spots. This race is going to come around. He knows he'll have his opportunity. No point in damaging yourself right now. Lots of laps to go. As we look at the front, DJ Christie, you can see him trying to defend the inside going in the corner, but that does not allow him. The harder you try to defend the inside going out, the harder it is to keep the car down on the exit of the turn. He did a nice job there off of turn number 2, down into 3 and 4. He'd gotten a little bit tight last time. Yeah, he goes up the racetrack. That allows Traves to get that run to the inside, but Traves runs out of real estate on the bottom of the track, and he's got to back out of it.
Adam DJ Christie, a second-generation driver there, but most of his real racing experience without the rear view, and he's got a face full of it right now, that 60 car.
Well, great to have you here, Clinton. Let's look at this top 4. You've got sprint cars, legend cars, and Parker Traves in the 60. Austin Momberquette is late model and I believe super stock racer, and then behind him you got Trayton Lasevich, who's late model racing. So great to see these drivers from all different disciplines coming out here to battle every Tuesday night.
A couple of generations going at it right there. Christie and Lapsevich, who have definitely come into their own. But you know, Adam, it's tough here. There's a lot of friends in this division. And even if you're like, hey, buddy, let me in, he can't, or he's going to get run over from the back. You can't even really help your friends out if he is hung out on the outside like that.
There's no friends on the racetrack. I'm so excited. Garrett Teemersman sent me a message a few weeks ago to say I got his name right. So Garrett Teemersman, that Way Freight number 17, always posting about the races coming up that night. A young driver who knows social media. You got to be up on the social media. It keeps the sponsors happy. It keeps the fans engaged. We've got Ryan Dyson hung up on the outside right now, battling with Ray Morneau in the 03, and now Brody McPherson in the 56.
Todd, earlier you said you were having trouble with the comments, so we'll just get a couple out there. Don Martin says Slice and Dyson looks good tonight. And a quick mention tonight, it was update on the iRacing platform. Some of the bodies got updated, and that's why some of the racers were not able to get their actual graphics package out there tonight. I'm not sure if you explained that earlier tonight, Adam, as well.
Yeah, I did hear about that. I didn't talk about it, but I heard about it, so no, good catch there. DJ Christie slid all the way back to the 8th spot. As we look at this battle, 10th, 11th, and 12th in line. Ray Morneau in the 03, Brody McPherson in the 56 in trouble. Who's that off the pace on the inside? Not sure who that was, but dropped the anchor in 3 and 4 and getting down out of the way. My mistake, I thought this was a 100-lap feature event. It shows 125 laps on the counter. Even better, we got a nice green flag run going right now, and 3 of the best iRacers. Parker Traves in the 60, Dustin Momberquette in the 16, Trayton Lapsevich in the 32.
Getting logged in there, I saw Dale Shaw's troubles, and yellow's out now on lap 32.
Yeah, there were a lot of problems in that B main. None for Matthew Shirley in the number 12. He's brought out the caution here, but he won that B main walking away. But Josh Stoddy, Dale Shaw, drivers we've seen qualify most weeks had their share of troubles. As we look at Matt Shirley and a little bit of a checkup there.
Wow. The 66 got checked up earlier, and that one took a while to develop, but man.
Never know what brings these things on, but I've said time and time again, Clinton, the thing that iRacing got hang on their simulation is the hard feelings it can create among drivers.
That's a great way to put it. How many of these drivers who have to race each other, Adam, you think are going to remember it? Do you remember the iRacing shot when the guy wrecked you when you're in your real car? Or are you able to really keep them separate?
Well, I think once you get into your real car, you strap the helmet on, you go out there, you immediately have a different level of respect, and you can be the cleanest, most well-intended racer out there, but you're gonna have a little bit more respect when you're strapped into more than a ton of metal and horsepower. But the cliques that exist in iRacing exist in the real world. So the people who are friends, the people who stay in the same garage area on Discord so they can communicate with each other, they're the same people who are friends at the racetrack, and their enemies are the same people who are their enemies at the racetrack. So I mean, the rivalries are the same. I don't think you're going to pay somebody back at Flamborough Speedway for something they did to you at Langley.
But you may not let them in the cheeseburger line.
Exactly. So some exciting announcements, Clinton, for those of you who love watching racing all summer long in Ontario. Inty's getting behind a 360 Dirt Sprint Car Series and a Crate Engines Dirt Sprint Car Series. So we've got a lot of healthy racing to see this summer, and that's fantastic to see. Those things were just announced today.
Yeah, we're super proud of the work that's been put in to at least guarantee sprint cars will be strong in racing this year. And the best way to put it is they've got the funding to get through most of the situations that could be put in front of us to get the races out, and that's big. Pinty's coming on board. G-Force going to carry 10 of those races with both divisions live. And of course, for a lot of our viewers here, we know come from the APC side of things, that's been our number one priority on G-Force since October. We've got great things planned for that, and we plan to continue the awesome coverage we were able to provide last summer. We're super proud of the work we did, and a lot of these folks are going to get to see when we're not at the APC races, we'll be at a dirt race somewhere, bringing you the best of both worlds.
Parker Traves jumps out in front on that restart. Dustin Momberket, he had a plan. You could see that he executed what he wanted to do, but Trayton Lasovich is just too good. He's going to seize that opportunity, get up to the second spot, leave Momberket hung out to dry. So now Momberket will hope to get in front of Garrett Teemers. Well, he's going to do that. Tyler DiVincenzo up to that third position.
DiVincenzo trying to hold that inside line, does not want to let that one car behind the 16 knocking all over the back end of that car. Teemers more right there, trying to pull up with a little bit of gain on the 16. Then you got Joe Lawrence hanging in behind him.
What amazes me about these races is drivers who can be heavily involved in a caution, and next thing you look up and they're battling in the top 10. Right behind Joe Lawrence is Blake Neer in the 14. These are drivers with multiple podium finishes this season, and now we've got Brody McPherson, who's fought his way back up to the 8th spot. So McPherson coming back after a disappointing restart where he got hung on the outside and dropped well out of the top 10.
Talk a bit about pit strategy, Adam. What are we going to see throughout the second half of this race?
Last week we saw some drivers head to the pits and take on tires. What I'm seeing right now, it doesn't look like the tires are fading all that much yet. So unless there's a real steep drop off as we ride on board with Dustin Momberket, he's able to keep that car really straight.
Guys holding a good line here off the bottom. Looks like it's a little bit slick there on the inside, and you put a wheel a little too low here, you could easily find yourself in the grass and causing everybody problems behind you.
Yeah, I'm going to guess these drivers are using that apron to help rotate the cars, right? You get down on the flat, just dip the left sides on the flat, and it'll sling the car around to let you accelerate down the back straightaway. So that's what these drivers are using right now as we ride with Trayton Lapsovich in the second spot, riding behind Parker Traves in the 6th.
Great onboard views here as we sit with Trayton Lapsovich, third generation driver here who's really coming into his own, got his G license, which here in Ontario means you can drive for real, and going at it, trying to take down our leader.
Yeah, he drove Connor and his brother Ryden and his girlfriend Faith Dilley up to Blue Mountain last weekend. They went and did some skiing together. So Jeff Lapsevich drove his daughter and a bunch of her friends, and Trayton took the other vehicle and took another load up to Blue Mountain. Could possibly go wrong.
Well, we're going to watch what could possibly go wrong here as he knocks on the back door of the leader, trying to make something happen here. Lapsevich, one of the stalwarts here in both the outdoor series and on iRacing here. This kid's been at it for a while, Adam.
Yeah, he's got a lot of hours logged on this simulator. He's keeping the pressure on Parker Trades right now. Just about to complete lap number 50 out of 125, so not even close to close to halfway, but still a lot of racing left to go. And Trayton Lapsevich is just filling the rearview mirror of Parker Trades.
Working along, got a nose down on the inside, and they get together a bit as they work their way off the bottom of 2.
Lapsevich makes the pass. Traves trying to cross him over. A little bit of contact down into turn 1. Traves going to cross him over and get that spot. And now Momberquette tries to drive into that hole. Lapsevich closed the door. DiVincenzo to the outside to battle for third.
Race director Don York is saying in his head, calm down, drivers. We're almost putting them together here, looking good. DiVincenzo will drop back on the outside of Momberquette, and he tries to get down in front of Teamersma. And as they're going at it, Lawrence looking all over that battle, right over the front of his nose.
Oh, Matthew Shirley around, looks like with Mike Husby, and that's going to draw a yellow here on lap 53. So Shirley going to lose a lap in that exchange. He heads straight down pit road. We'll have a look at this replay. Shirley down the back straightaway. It's always a chain reaction. I think that was David Rockwood at the start of that who had his problems. Shirley got a big piece. Then came down across the racetrack, caught another one. Was that Mike Husby or was that Roland Croteau in the 98?
That was in 98, I believe.
Roland Croteau. Sorry, I called him Mike Husby, but that's the Croteau machine.
That pizza Mike Husby?
Yep.
Did you say yes?
Yeah.
Well, that story we had on our Schweeken event last May. We had a street stock event. Mike Husby said he'd buy all the announcers pizza if he could win the feature, but he got close, but we only got to sniff the pizza.
And those were races that had 60 cars in them. It was a big enduro, and there was a lot of fun. I'd like to see the real version of that.
Yeah, that could be interesting. I think we might see it at the dirt race coming up at Eldora or Bristol here in a couple weeks. 250 laps. Hopefully they can keep that dirt from dusting up too bad on them in the afternoon. That's what
they'll have something figured out. There are things you can put in a dirt track to keep the dust from coming up. Some of them are even legal.
Yeah, who knows what goes on in Tennessee?
Different laws, different rules.
There's been a great response from a lot of these drivers reaching out to us in the days between the races to say, hey, our sponsors are watching. We've landed sponsors for our summer team, for our Real Racing program. It's been amazing.
And it feels really good. And I'm proud of what we've been able to do. Gareth Gonder is a great example who works with the Salvo Falls Tent and Trailer El Grande team. Scooch as well on that car, so they've been here watching these races. That's what we want. This only works. The things that we've been able to do with G-Force only work if it's a win for everybody. That's what we're trying to achieve. And hopefully it's shining a positive light on racing. If it helps racers, if it helps fans, then good, because I'm having fun.
Back to green we go. 59 of 125, closing in on the halfway point here. And we're looking at some of the best in the business here in Ontario going at it. Dustin
Momberquette giving no opportunity. Lapsevich Lapsevich there to get down in line. I think Tyler DiVincenzo just helped out a buddy there, allowing Lapsevich to get down in front of his 97 because they're lined up tight behind him. Garrett Teamersma, Joe Lawrence. Now we have a 6-car train at the front of this field. Parker Trades leading the way.
Trades with the advantage, about quarter of a car length, but not really much to speak of just yet. Dustin Momberket rolling on the back quarter. Then you got Trayton Lapsevich, Tyler DiVincenzo rolling back there and forth, and the yellow comes out here. We're about to crest the halfway point.
Marshall Schrenk getting going right in front of the leaders. I respect that move for him to stay on the lead lap. The leaders had to spike the brakes, but he takes off just in front of them. Let's see what precipitated spin down in 3 and 4 for Marshall Schrenk. He's hung up on the outside. Went off at turn number 2, down the back straightaway they go. A little bit of help than Schauler in the 21.
Yeah, it looked like he must have had a push or something. He left the door open way too long there. When he finally closed it, it was filled.
Yeah, it's so hard to understand how these wrecks develop. Like, you can see how they start and then the chain reaction goes down, and it usually takes an action and a reaction.
You know, I know we have a lot of viewers, Adam, and some of them maybe aren't familiar with how iRacing operates. And just like racing that we witness in the summertime outdoors, you've got way different levels of equipment here. Some by choice, some by budget. You have guys that we've talked about who have a full motion rig with wraparound screens and, you know, Oculus Rift, virtual reality goggles. And then you've got guys that we've talked about in the past who, you know, sit at the kitchen table on a hard wooden, you know, chair with everything bolted down there. So, you know, there's so much that goes into how these cars operate and how they get around the track.
Yeah, and I mean, it's one thing to have your equipment up to snuff, Clint, but imagine racing it'd be like racing on a different track than someone else if your internet isn't as fast as someone else, right? It's so many things go into it, much of which is in the driver's control. Some of it is not in the driver's control, but yeah, we've had drivers who race on kitchen chairs with a laptop and a steering wheel with the laptop. We've had other drivers who have full simulator cockpits and the best of the best.
I meant to ask you on our show tonight, is it bad etiquette to be racing with a controller in iRacing? I saw someone bragging about it on Facebook about laying a whooping out, and I thought that was not really supposed to go on.
Yeah, you know what? If you really want to insult someone on iRacing and say, oh, they're racing with a controller, because it means they're out of control. I don't know. I mean, we're too old to be passing any judgment like that.
Yes, but we can still sit behind the wheel and have fun when our kids aren't occupying the rigs. Let's say that. This is an amazing bit of entertainment. You know, we show you a couple styles of racing here, but when you look at you know, all of the platforms on iRacing, it's definitely worth the $15 or $20 a month it costs to do it if you're a racer. And here we go, back on it. Parker Traves, leading them off to turn 1. He will take them down there. Dustin Momberket running in second. Trayton Lapsevich, DiVincenzo, and then the battle for 5th. Teamersma and Joe Lawrence trying to go around the outside in the 78. Lawrence made it work, Adam, but he's not there, and Teamersma going to push it back. Yellow out again.
We are under yellow once again. Justin Collison in the 13. This time it is Mike Cusby in the number 6. Collison transferred through the B main. Husby time trialed into the top 20. Let's have a look and see what brought this on. Look way up at the head of the pack. So Kyle Steckley gets a big wiggle up off the turn. Then Husby looked like he got some help there. That was Johnny Morrison, and then a whole bunch of cars got involved. DJ Christie, who started on the pole of this one way back in the field. Almost had another wreck. Drivers trying to get themselves sorted out, pointed in the right direction.
Now look at it here. And you see Kyle Steckley get out of shape, but watch, right there, purple car and the 6 get together, and then the 73 clips off the back end, and it's chaos from there.
Yeah, you really do need to survive in these races. I mean, there are a few drivers at the front in the top 3, 4, 5 cars that'll kind of get through a race mostly unscathed, but usually from 5th on back, it's a war. These are short track wars we're seeing on Tuesday nights. And now you look up, and sure, lap 63 was halfway, but now we're at lap 71. Now the laps are really starting to count down, so you're not going to show as much patience. You've got to start moving, start making your way to the front. Less give or take. Unless we're talking about front bumpers, then there's lots of give.
Adam, there's a couple ways that drivers communicate with each other if you're viewing at home and have not participated on the platform. There's another program called Discord, and that's where a lot of the communication happens between drivers and officials, and that's where we call the races through. It's a common gaming platform for communication and messaging. And Aaron Martin just commented in the comments, they should put the Discord in stream mode so we can hear everything. Can you imagine that?
I want to see that. Let's I'm going to scroll down and see some of the, actually we'll have to scroll back in the season because we kind of read people the riot act and said mind your manners on the Discord.
That. As I was trying to get logged in, I read some of the messages you were having to send the teams.
Well, and I'll tell you what, Don York does a good job as race director, but Don York is very passionate, so he will make a call and then he'll jump into someone's Discord channel and explain why he made it. Your lineage might have been a part of what caused him to have to make that call in the first place. He goes the extra mile when he makes his decisions, but they sure are entertaining to listen to from time to time. Oh, trouble for Teamersma! Teamersma gets turned sideways. Brody McPherson took the hazard through turn number 3.
Wow.
Yellow is out. Okay.
Smug got lucky because that 56 nearly caught him on the way by. The name
Eric Teamersma and Brody McPherson just did amazing jobs to maintain sort of control of their race cars. Coming off of turn 2 is where this is going to happen. Watch for the white number 17. Back in about the 6th spot, running on the outside of Blake Neer in the 14th. I think he just got up out of the groove and got out of shape. We ride along, if we can, Matt, with the 0-3 of Ray Morneau. He was right behind that. Maybe that'll give us a look at what was going on.
Yeah, I'm with you there. It looked like he got up out of the groove. Now, if he had help to get out of the groove, we might not have picked that one up.
Here we go. Down into 1 and 2. Now we're up on the roof of Ray Morneau, and you can see these cars are starting to slide around. 2 cars ahead is Teamersma. He might have had help from Ryan Dyson, but I don't know.
We see that one again, Matt, from that view. So we're watching from 2 cars back here, or even if you want to jump into the Dyson car. But yeah, hard to say. You know, he definitely got in the backstretch wall, and that was the end of it all. But how did he get up out of the groove? He just came off wide off the bottom there, off of 2 Adam, it looked like, unless it started earlier than that.
He got hit a couple of times and straightened out. If you have time, Matt, but only if you have time, let's ride on board the 56 of Brody McPherson. I'd love to see how many directions that car was pointed between turn 2 and turn 3.
Matt Thomas doing a great job, and here we are.
But there's Garrett just up to his right. Trouble. There's a ditch. There's a ditch on the inside of turn 3, so he kind of went through that elevation. Thankfully, the car settled right down and landed, and I think they're both still in the top 10.
Holding on lap 80. Leaves us with about 45 to go here in the Winter Meltdown race number 8, presented by Grisdale Racing Products, Caldecott Millrods, and London Recreational Racing. It's been amazing to have them get on board to support this. series. We want to thank all the drivers and teams for getting on board, and you know, Don York for all he does too. It's a lot of work outside the broadcast parameters.
Yeah, it really is a lot of effort. As we charge down into turn number 1, Traves across the nose of Dustin Monberquette to take that lead. Tyler DiVincenzo up the racetrack. That allows Joe Lawrence to the inside. Blake Neer tries to get down in front of Brody McPherson. McPherson, screw you. I don't mind driving through the ditch on the inside. I did it once, I'll do it again.
They got the elbow pads on, and the elbows are up here as we're coming at it. Oh, we got trouble down the back straight.
Blake Neer in the 14 got way out of shape. I think he saved it, but he would have lost a whole bunch of spots.
I want to buzz a group with Smokey on the outside, but green continues to fly here at Langley Speedway in the Winter Meltdown, race number 8. Not too many more to go here. Big shake-up in the points. The point leader did not qualify tonight, Adam, so it's going to change the math quite a bit.
It's unbelievable. Jay Morneau fighting with Caden Lapsevich for that position. Further to the front, Trayton Lapsevich racing with Dustin Monberquette for the second spot. Right behind him is Joe Lawrence, and we've seen Lawrence. He is super aggressive out there in that Pennzoil APC number 78.
Yeah, the most successful driver in the APC Late Model Series in Ontario in 2020. Won the most and almost had a perfect year. One around on the bottom. That should bring out the yellow here unless it can get rolling. Still green with 40 laps to go here.
After 3 and 4, Parker Traves leads the way. Right behind him, Dustin Monberquette. And now Trayton Lapsevich is backed off about half a car length from the back bumper of Monberquette's number 16. They're kind of turning laps right now. The top 4 all right together, but they've got a little bit of real estate between themselves and the 5th place car.
Monberquette starting to push the issue a little bit as he gets right up the exhaust fumes here of Park Traves as they take it onto the back stretch. Top 4 there with about a car length between each of them, and an accordion's tight here off before.
Into 1 and 2 they go. So the bottom is where it's at. These drivers are hugging that yellow line. Let's ride for a lap or two with Monberquette and just watch how he works the steering wheel and how married he is to the yellow line at the bottom.
Yeah, fairly smooth on that wheel, you know, not sawing on it, trying to be as steady and put as little bit of input into it as he can. And as you look there, Adam, you get to see that Joe Lawrence car sneaking into that bottom side there in the left side mirror.
Up Joe Lawrence to the inside of Trayton Lapsevich. He'll take the 3rd position. Lapsevich tucks right in behind the 78 of Lawrence. He doesn't want to give up too much track position there, as they've got a gap on 5th place, but it's only 2-3 car lengths, and we've got a melee in turn 1.
Back under the yellow here.
So Teamer gets going, gets out ahead of the pace car. He was having a solid run. He was top 10 or 12 most of the night. Right behind David Rockwood in the 190. Boy, just what we've seen all night. The car that we point out in the yellow is usually about 5 cars back from where the yellow actually started, and that was the case here.
Teamer's Mount was in the top 5 earlier tonight. Now will find himself restarting from the back. He starts up there around the 6.
Yeah, they fan out, everybody having to check up, and Prisma just did not get checked up. Makes contact with the 190 of David Rockwood. We'll stack them up and do it again. Just 2 more races to go after this one, Clinton. And I talked about it a little earlier on. I love this point system.
I'm a big fan of it as well. Super easy to follow. You know, math is very, you know, basic. I'm a big fan of this. I've always liked this deal. Let's talk about the schedule. Where do we go from here?
I don't remember, but I know that we end the season at North Wilkesboro. Where are we next week? Shoot. I don't remember.
Thanks everybody for tuning in. Don't forget to share it each week when we come on the air. Let's keep building this up. We got good plans for iRacing, though. Things have been very good. Great support from both, the marketing partners and the participants here. It's been awesome. Great job. As we hear it from the booth, from Matt, mentions these guys are trying to save fuel. Adam, you see them down here. What are some of the things they can do to try and make it to the end if they're in jeopardy?
You can shut the engine right off in these cars, Clint. So, what you can do is just run around with the clutch in, with the car out of gear so it's idling. Some of them actually kill the engine and then refire it. I would have thought they could go 125 laps, but I guess we're going to find out. I mean, these guys do a lot of calculating, and there are apps that'll help you, crew chief apps, that'll tell you how many laps you have before you'll be out. So if these guys, crew chief is telling them that they're not going to be able to go the distance on fuel, they're going to be working real hard to conserve wherever they can.
30 to go, and the temperature starts to rise. No fuel saving going on here when the green flag comes out. Maybe in a couple laps when everybody gets in a rhythm, but right now you're up on it, and the guy who's up on it, that's the outside curve, is Trayton Lapsovich, and he may get railroaded back if he cannot get down, and he will get down, but the yellow comes out, kind of saves Trayton's bait.
It really did. So these restarts are tough for the car that's on the outside. I believe that's David Rockwood again, and the 190 involved in this one. We have damage turned on, so these cars do take damage, Clinton, but they're pretty darn durable. Almost too durable sometimes, because you do want a little bit of attrition. If it's not your night, it's not your night.
Let's talk about this. That was a violent wreck.
Yeah, you shouldn't be able to drive away from that.
Let's talk about pit stops, Adam. So nobody has come in for elective stops yet, if I understand that correctly.
Yeah, we haven't seen much action on pit road at all. I mean, this is where, Clint, if I'm in the, 12th to 20th or so on the lead lap, I'm coming into the pits. Why not? You got to do something.
Missed one.
Yeah, I'm with you, and we get word from Matt again that Gareth Gonder, 11th place running, was the highest finishing car that has taken fuel, or highest running car that has taken fuel so far. So we'll watch that car and see if he can stick it onto this one. And do the yellows help Adam? I mean, you're still the same distance. It's going to help a little bit. I guess the overtime is what you're really trying to avoid, right?
I would think so. As I say, I don't know that fuel will be an issue, but if he did pit, he would have taken on tires. And we are seeing these drivers starting to slide around just a little bit, but you expect that 100 laps into a 125 lap race.
Yeah, can you tell me, Adam, do they get to select their own fuel, or is the amount of fuel fixed?
It's all predetermined, but if you come into pit, you can put in as much as you want or as little as you want.
You start.
So I've learned.
So I know you can't start with more than the prescribed amount, but if you say how many gallons you're going to start with, is it possible to remove them? Could anybody be playing the weight game? No. Okay.
This is what you call a fixed setup league. So the race director, Don York, builds all these setups. That's what the drivers run. But these cars will be affected. So the empty fuel will have an effect on how they handle. So will the hot tires. So will the worn out tires. So everything matters. The simulation does a pretty good job of that and making the handling fall off as realistic as they possibly can.
Don Martin says, dang, my wife ate all my popcorn. Well, my kids ate all my dinner while I was on the air for the last 2 hours. So I'm eating peanut butter sandwiches tonight.
Well, and we'll explain next week where Stephen Evans was this week. We can't talk about that right now, but I think we can give him a pass on this one.
All good. I don't mind jumping in here if you guys will have me. 24 to go here. And we get set to wrap this one up. Won't be too much longer before we're looking at victory lane here from Langley Speedway in round number 8 of the Winter Meltdown Series, presented by Grisdale Racing Products, Caldecott Millwrights, and London Recreational Racing. All great supporters of all things motorsports here in Ontario.
Ride along with Dustin Momburquette in the 16. He is second spot, so the race leader Parker Traves is electing to restart on the outside. She has done the last few restarts. The luxury of firing first, and he's done a pretty good job of getting out in front in that 60.
Start comes up. There was a bit of brake checking going on from fifth on back. We'll see. Oh, and they're not going to make it.
Nope, they're a wreck.
Yellow back out here. We'll see who gets affected by that.
It's interesting you said that, Clinton, with the brake checking. Matt, can you show us that replay at regular speed? I want to see what the front row did on that restart. Watch for the accordion effect to go from the front back through the field. Oh, they didn't check up too bad. Oh, Brody McPherson. Tyler DiVincenzo got some. This could be a big point say. Matt, do you still have the graphic of the point standings? Sure. Another look at this replay. Parker Traves with another great start. We're going to look at it from down the front straightaway. They're just bouncing off each other at horrible angles.
It looked like someone got McPherson's 56 car possibly in the right rear and turned him up the track across everybody's nose. It wouldn't have taken much to get that going, but that's where it all started. But they, I was on the call there. They kind of got into one hot. You knew it wasn't looking good by the time we got to the end of the straightaway. White flag coming out. Here's your point standings, Adam. Dale Shaw.
So Dale Shaw, 35 points tonight. So he's going to be at 83 points. So Tyler DiVincenzo, so all the way back to 6th place, could take over the points lead. Obviously, depending how they finish here tonight.
Definitely will accordion things up. Is Dale Shaw out of the championship, Adam?
Not at all.
Not at all.
Look at Gareth Gonder and Kyle Steckley are 2nd and 3rd in points. Neither of them have really cracked the top 10 tonight. So that's a big help to Dale Shaw. So no, I think it's really going to tighten up the running. We are going to have a new points leader after tonight, but no, Dale Shaw's certainly not out of it. I believe someone's getting penalized. That's Trayton Lapsevich.
So he is getting the no stick pointed at the 32. He will have to let everybody slide by and go to the back.
I can't see that making Trayton too happy.
On the next yellow, if you're Lapsevich, are you coming in? I am.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, you're already at the back.
Oh, and there it is. Or maybe not. Or yes, it is. Or maybe not. We're still under green.
Nice saves all the way around. Holy moly. Now we're under yellow. Yellow is out.
Lapsevich is in 19th when that came by. We have 22 cars on the lead lap as it sits right now.
You pit. No brainer. No brainer.
Even if a couple of them run out, and then you're hoping for overtime after overtime. You want max attempts, right?
Not necessarily. It's just Gareth Gonder in the 81. So if you're top 5 in points, tonight's not going your way. Clint, it all depends. Sometimes these restarts take you out of races. So maybe if you're trading Lapsevich, coming back to a top 5 would be a happy ending as we look at. That happened well ahead of him. That happened with Ryan Dyson and another car just ahead of Dyson going into turn number 1. Ollie Wilson there in the 69, slowing down to take evasive action.
Fixed setup, Adam, and also talked about the difference in the rig setups that these drivers are, putting the input and receiving the images back to them. That's where a fixed setup kind of does make it a disadvantage because, depending on the rig you've got, you can't maybe make those adjustments to adjust for your driving style or the rig you have. not everybody has a setup. So that was one of the arguments we used to have on dirt with our guys, right? Is they would say, well, wait a minute, he's driving to the kitchen table, I'm in a full motion rig. Fixed setups are going to work differently for both of us. But the other plus side to it is it makes it fair because you don't have to spend a million hours practicing tuning your setups like some of these, a high school kid's got a way better advantage than a guy with a job in this deal, right? So this kind of equals the playing field, similar to the mid-level NASCAR series taking out live pit stops in an effort to save, time and make things more competitive.
That's fair. So Kyle Stackley has come in for tires. He's up in the 7th spot. So we're seeing tires getting near the front. Let's put it into perspective, Clint. Let's talk about Kyle Busch in the Cup Series. Ever since they went to no practice, Kyle Busch's performance has really suffered. Still the same playing field for everybody. It just sometimes swings to where it benefits you, and sometimes it swings to a way that does not benefit you. But ultimately, it's the fairest for everybody on the track.
We've seen a lot of wrecking from the back. Parker Traves hoping he can keep them just far enough off the back bumper of that car. Looks like he's going to choose outside for the restart once again, right up alongside the pace car.
I don't know what we've got going on there because there are pretty strict rules about keeping up with the pace car.
Marquette will roll up along the inside and fill that spot.
Caden Lapsevich, we haven't talked much about the older Lapsevich brother tonight. He's up there in the 3rd spot with Joe Lawrence. Kyle Stackley is actually up into 5th in the 24 machine, the Quick Wick sponsored ride.
Getting ready to go. Lights go off in the pace car. It takes the hard left. Here we go. Traves on the gas, down into 1. He'll close the bottom off. Marquette in the backside. Joe Lawrence will fill position number 3. Caden Lapsevich back to 4th. 5th is Dyson. 6th
Ryan Dyson up to 5th. Stackley 6th, Ray Morneau in 7th in the 0-3. Just 2 green flag laps in a row. That's as good a run as we've had recently. As we're getting down to the nitty gritty. 8 laps to go.
Oh,
big trouble.
Did he take, was that Stackley?
Kyle Stackley and Ryan Dyson.
And they'll get down on each other back to turn 1.
Let's have another look, and then let's definitely go to the onboard of the 2nd car there. Kyle Stackley a couple of car lengths back. Oh, Ryan Dyson. Yeah, he wiggled and then closed the door, which is his right. There was room, and then there wasn't. Wow. So if we can ride with Kyle Stackley in the 24, watch out quickly he closes it.
So there you're in the 24 car, Stackley. And it looks like he's got a good gap. And Dyson steps up a bit. Stackley thinks, there's my shot. And yeah, you're right. The door opened and then it closed.
And that so Ryan Dyson, what he's doing is gathering that car back in. So he's not just blocking the inside. Like, oh, I see someone coming. You're chasing that car down the track to try to get it back under control. Kyle Stackley is trying to seize that opportunity. So a wreck like that, Clinton, I see as good hard racing. Unfortunate circumstance. Drivers might feel a little differently.
Yeah, I don't really disagree. I mean, if you're in the Stackley pit stall, you're looking at it from the standpoint of the door clearly looked like it was open there for the moment when I stepped into it. And then, like you said, Dyson isn't trying to block. He's still trying to saw on that wheel and get the car back underneath him to exit onto the, straightaway. So just a tough, hard racing deal. Now we got to wonder, is any of these guys saving gas? You're looking out the front windshield of Dustin Momberquette's number 16 at the back end of Parker Traves, who's been the leader for the majority of this race. Up there, back there, as we look back from 6th on back, Gareth Gonder, Colton Evernham running 6th and 7th. Right now we're getting a view at the first, second, and third. And as we said, Traves 16 car. There's Montbriquet 78. Joe Lawrence behind them. And we'll see how it shakes out past that. Looks like it'll be Caden Lapsvich, then Morneau, Gonder, Everingham, Morrison, House, and Schrenk. The top 10 currently running here.
Just to give you an idea of who's on whose side, Blake Neer, Caden Lapsovich, Joe Lawrence, Trayton Lapsovich, Tyler DiVincenzo, they all hang out in one Discord room, which kind of means they're buddies. They may try to coordinate restarts, things like that. Dale Shaw, Dustin Montbriquet, Alex McCollum, Gordon House, and Parker Traves, they're all in their own Discord room. So our front row and what they've been doing, and that's why they're able to sort out so quickly, is they're coordinating their restarts. So Traves gets out in front. He's able to drop down. Oh, Joe Lawrence tries to run defense, which is push the 16 of Montbriquet down into the corner. But what I believe we were seeing was friendly cooperation. Is wow, someone, who is that in third? Up in the back of Montbriquet, loosened him up. Caden Lapsovich into him again, into 1 and 2. Montbriquet going for a long slide, trying to gather it up. He goes around.
Now, white flag coming to the checker now. Who's it going to be, Adam? Traves.
Traves to the win. Caden Lapsovich comes home second. Joe Lawrence comes home third, but scores. Hang on to your pencils. We may have some officiating coming up here.
Hey, look at here comes Montbriquet. Oh no, I thought it was Montbriquet coming back.
Oh, that was the 66 car.
You know, the way I saw it, Lapsovich got into him once, like precision. It was beautiful. Just got him out of the groove enough to take that spot. He got it back, and then coming the second time, got him a little too much coming into one, I think. We will watch and see what happens.
Let's take a quick break, and we will be back with Victory Lane celebrations here at Langley Speedway in the Grisdale Racing Products Winter Meltdown.
What makes a trailer a Miska? Is it the heavy-duty Canadian steel they are made from? Or is it the exceptional finish that will last year after year? How about knowing that these are the best back trailers in the industry? These are the reasons you buy Miska. So what makes these trailers a Miska? It's the hard-working Canadians who craft them. We are Miska. We are Canadian tough.
There are a lot of things in this world that are fake. Your food shouldn't be one of them. Pinty's Man Cave Ribs. Authentic food for real people. Crave the cave, friends. Pinty's Man Cave.
A guy like this, who relies on his truck for work, knows that his truck will take care of him if he takes care of his truck. And WeatherTech has always been the ultimate protection. From floor liners to no-drill mud flaps to tech liner for your truck bed to bump step to the handy under-seat storage system. And Cup Phone keeps phones secure in any cup holder. Order your ultimate protection today at weathertech.ca.
There are a lot of things in this world that are fake. Your food shouldn't be one of them. Pinty's Man Cave sausages and street dogs. Authentic food for real people. Crave the cave, friends. Pinty's Man Cave.
Welcome back. Winter Meltdown, race number 8. We wrap things up at Langley Speedway. Thanks, Adam, for having me. We're going to turn it over to you in Victory Lane as we want to thank Grisdale, Caldecott Millwrights, and London Recreational again. Here's Adam with your top 3.
Man, oh man, these races don't get less eventful as the season goes on. Joe Lawrence, third place run. You worked your tail off for that.
Yeah, definitely was an interesting race for sure.
Talk about, I don't want to call it team racing, but on restarts, there's definitely some cooperation that goes on. And there's 2 or 3 teams. How much did that play a factor in these late race restarts?
It definitely plays a big factor. I mean, you got the guys that every team does it. They work together. Parker Traves did an excellent job with his starts. He was really consistent. when he wanted within the box. It was fair. Just got down in front of his teammate every time, and it makes it difficult to get past the two of them.
I suggested that you may have pushed his teammate down into the corner to create some chaos on that green-white checkered. Was I right there? Were you trying to prevent him from leaving that spot open?
Yeah, definitely. I had to try something on the last start and wanted to disturb what they had been doing time and time again, try and throw them out of the loop and catch them off guard.
Yeah, no, yeah, I don't say it as a dirty thing. It's just you use the means that you have, and you used it pretty well tonight. It was a lot of fun to watch. What's your take on that race? Third place. Are you happy?
Definitely, anytime we can get top three with the guys in this league, it's a good deal. Tough place to come to and pass. It's very one grooved in my opinion. You can clear someone on the outside on the initial start, but if you get stuck out there a lap or two into the run, you're getting freight trained.
Thanks for the time, Joe. We appreciate it. Is there anyone you want to thank for this run?
Definitely want to thank ABC Pennzoil for sticking with me, and Grisdale G-Force for putting this whole thing on. They do an awesome job broadcasting and everything like that. So it was definitely fun to be a part of.
Thanks so much. Joe Lawrence, third place finisher tonight here at Langley. Let's go to the second step on the podium. It's taken up by a driver who's only run a few races with us this season, but Caden Lapsevich, second place run. How do you feel about that?
It was all right. I didn't have the best speed, but just made the most of it. I didn't even have iRacing downloaded on my computer as qualifying started, so I had an issue with the build today, so I had to re-download everything. Hopped in, had to redo all my settings and graphics and all the stuff that plays a big factor in this, and it's still not right. But I dealt with it and had some fun. I think we had a good run. It's like Joe said, just a tough place to pass. Really had to be smart with it, and if you got stuck on the top, it was game over. So trying to pick when you wanted to make a pass, sort of, I took into consideration quite a bit tonight, and I was wrong about 85% of the time, but I still had fun.
Okay, it's interesting you say that, Caden. How will that affect you when you go racing outside this summer? Like, just being able to admit, okay, I made a few wrong decisions there tonight. Is there anything you can take into your super late model for any of the shows you run in the summertime?
Um, a little bit. Just iRacing is as a whole, it's got its similarities to real life racing, but at the end, it's still not the real thing. You're not getting the real feel. You're not getting the G forces, the everything else you do in a real car. But you can take some of this stuff, kind of like the mental notes, like I can't. The top sucks here, so I got to try and stay in an odd number position, or vice versa.
Yeah, right on. Well, good run. Is there anyone you'd like to thank, Caden?
I gotta thank everybody at Legacy Esports and Reaper Speed Lab. We spend a lot of time testing, and we had a few good runs tonight, so that was good. Ace Services, Hamke Race Cars, everybody that helps me out in the sim and in real life. I can't thank everybody enough. GeForce for you guys putting this on, and hope we can get one step better next week if I decide to race.
There you go. Caden Lasevich, second place run. And that brings us to our winner. Even Joe Lawrence commended you on those restarts, Parker Traves. You had to orchestrate a number of those restarts. You did it well. Talk about your run.
Yeah, it definitely is. Having lane choice was played to my advantage. I was with Dustin in the chat there, and he kind of protected a little bit, and I was able to get down every time. And I know if I let Trayton come behind me, he was probably going to lay me the bumper after that racing we had there for the lead. So, but no, it was overall good race.
Right on. Do the restarts get frustrating for you being out in front, or is it just part of the deal?
Yeah, it's frustrating. Like I'm more of a long run kind of guy, so I wanted it to stretch out, but unfortunately it didn't.
You started the season with us, and then we lost you for a few weeks. What did you have on the go?
I just didn't like how I was raced before, so I decided to take a break, and I seen Langley on the schedule, so I thought I'd come back. I guess it paid off.
Yeah, that's definitely fair. Parker, great job on the win tonight. Who'd you like to thank?
Definitely 09 Motorsports, Canadian Legend Cars, and all you guys for putting it on.
Right on, man. Parker, thanks so much. Congratulations on a great win. That'll do it from Langley Speedway, folks. Another great show tonight in the Grisdale Racing Products Winter Meltdown, presented by Caldecott Millwright Services and London Recreational Racing. We'll see you next Tuesday.